Greetings! Welcome to the devlog for update 65 of Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades. We're going to start, as always, with a quick sound check. Make sure speakers aren't up too high. Wonderful. So what have we got for you this week? Well, we have got even more Melee toys and a brand new game mode. So let's jump right in. So waste no time at all. Take a look at the extra toys that have been added. We've got ourselves a gorgeous rapier here and a selection of daggers that I have had far too much fun implementing and playing with. They function similar to the shurikens in that they're actually spawn lockable and throwable and have some of the same sort of reorienting code that the pilums, which can now stab as well, have. So let's put this here. Let's take a look at what I've been playing with for hours upon hours. So the way these work is that these can still pose switch. So we click left and right on the touchpad or on the joystick to cycle them between their pose. I like sort of pulling them up like this. They don't spin like a real throwing knife because I want to use the impalement code. Let's see if we can get it on the first shot. Wham! There we go. Right in there. Oh, they bounce off the armor, obviously.
Oh, why me?
Perfect. Oh, a little too high. This, honestly, is an incredibly fun weapon to just run, but with nothing but two of these spawn locked. Ah, come on. Whap.
At least I've got a great severance
Whap.
package.
Love using the rapier here.
Doink.
Tear that right off. Let's back out. Come on. See, as soon as I go to show this off, I can't throw or the damn. Nope. You don't actually have to reorient them pose-wise. I just enjoy it. Oh, almost got him. As you can see, you also get a little bit of a throwing velocity boost. So you don't have to do it super hard. It helps you out a bit. Won't help you with the aim, though. And these, if you're worried about these despawn automatically after like 30 seconds.
Oh dear.
Whap. That's enough of those. So yeah, so those are in four types. We've also got something incredibly special for you to demonstrate just how deadly you are. That's right, we have a number 2 pencil so that you can totally reenact your favorite John Wick fantasies. So this is a stabbing weapon, so you can't just totally come up to one of them and stab away with your pencil. But they're also spawn lockable and throwable. Make a great thud noise. Whap!
Oh shoot!
They're not as strong as the dagger, so against the head, you'll need more than one hit. Whap! For whatever reason, I can throw these better than the daggers. Whap, whap. Truly, the mightiest weapon that has ever been added to H3. Boom. See, and these pose switch. So if you want to invert it like that, you can totally do so. Whap, whap. Off you go. Whap.
Ow.
It's actually kind of fun seeing how many you can get stuck in one before the first one despawns. All right, enough of that. I'm just going to distract myself doing that endlessly. And there's a couple more. There, as I said, there's the daggers. We've got a great Bardiche here. This was donated by a community member, Alex, and it is sweet. It's really fun because it functions like a two-handed axe, so we can get our chopping and our lodging action on with it, like so. But it has a point, so we can also, if we do this right, whap, we can also stab with it. So there you have it, the Bardiche. Cool. Let us jump over and take a look at this new mode for the Kappa Coliseum. So, We are over in the Kappa Coliseum now, and before we jump over to our new game mode, I want to go over a change, actually several changes, that have occurred to our Sosa guns that are fairly important, as one of the sub-modes for our new mode involves a whole bunch of these. So the first thing is that these are now all spawn lockable. That's right, finally there's some spawn lockable guns. These are basically simple enough that I can transfer over state and actually do that, and they're fairly lightweight, and I can sort of like pool and delete them as needed without a performance impact. The second thing is that they actually have real recoil, like the quote-unquote real guns, which both affects the player shooting. You actually get muzzle rise out of them instead of just relying on a whole bunch of random deviation of projectile path. But this affects the SOSIGs too. You'll notice it especially when they use some of the higher recoil weapons like the AKM that really wants to pull up, that especially at long range, they no longer just spray away at you, they actually tap with it because the recoil takes the muzzle essentially in deviation away from their target, and they restrain themselves from firing automatically. So it basically means that their firing patterns vary significantly more across weapon platforms. Super fun. And for those of you who just want to play out your Reaper fantasies and pull out 2 shotguns and fire away, throw them away and pick up 2 more, you can now do that. Wonderful. So, as we come over here, we have our new game mode. That's right, it's called Battle Petite. It is basically a super fast battle royale-ish kind of game mode. It's basically a free-for-all. No one's on a team. There are 3 forms of it, and this is actually in a new arena annex, which you'll see in a second. Open Equip lets you bring in anything you want from the item spawner. Sosa Guns basically clears anything you're carrying with you, or that's in your quick belts that is not, I believe it still allows you to bring in melee weapons if you want, and melee only spawns basically all the bots with melee weapons, and you can only bring melee weapons from the spawner in. So let's go ahead and do the Sosa Guns one, and try this out. I apologize ahead of time if you see any sort of glitches in here. I basically recorded this early, and I am still working on this mode and sort of polishing off some of the rough edges, and I'll keep tweaking it over the week to make it work better. Let's see here. Got ourselves an Uzi. Start with random equipment each time. We're immediately in a... Oh goodness, we're already taking fire. Gotta get off quick. Gotta get started quick here. Got one down. Let's see if he had anything. Ooh, suppressed pistol. Great for not getting noticed. Sometimes the civvies, you don't want to kill them because you don't want to lose points. Sometimes they've got a good weapon. You can come up and carefully steal. Nope. There we go. Here we go.
Soft serve, baby.
Oh, don't want to hit the civvy. You'll notice there's random equipment on the ground that you and the SOSIGs can end up picking up. And they're equipped quite randomly in terms of armor. There's no health in this mode. Oh, goodness. You gotta play it a little sneaky. Just more pistols. Might as well take a classic one too. Despite being a bigger arena though, it's still not a huge one, so a single round shouldn't last too long. Ooh, we're coming in for...
Gotta get you.
Where was his target? Oh yeah, here we go. Best gun. If I can hit with it. Oh goodness, taking fire. Let's see here. I get him. Looks like it.
Jim calls me a Meatmas. One more.
Boom. Let's get a vantage point here. There's got to be one or two more left. Please ignore the occlusion culling glitch over there. Still trying to fix it. Huh. Probably down to one. I'm still experimenting. I'll talk about that in a second.
Just relaxed. I'm on feet either.
See if we can attract some attention. Might actually be a logic bug still present in terms of the round end. So I'm just going to go ahead and refresh our scene. As I said, I'm still working on it. I'm still having some issues involving basically when a Sosig loses their gun, they never sort of return into an aggressive phase, and they can sometimes get lost in corners. So still working on fixing that. But yeah, so this is still very much in development. Honest to goodness, it still needs a couple more days of me tuning it. I got distracted working on melee stuff, but by the time I push the update tonight, it should totally be ready for you to play around and goof around in. So I hope you enjoy it. As I tune that new arena, I will probably make some extra versions of our target relay, assault and pepper, and meat and metal modes that use that space, which as you can see is a good deal larger, has a bunch more sort of paths to walk across and such. Cool. Well, let's go ahead and jump out of VR and talk about the week's plans.
Yo! Hope you've had fun playing in the Kappa Coliseum this past week. As you could see with what I was showing there, the Battle Petite mode isn't quite ready for showtime, but I'm getting the last few bugs worked out in it. Honestly, most of the time this past week was absorbed building that new space. And getting a whole bunch of things set up and actually making it so my system can handle multiple arenas in one scene and clean them up correctly and things like that. And so I didn't get quite as much time to spend on the actual like mode part of that work. But I'm just going to continue working on it this week. I think that new space has a lot of potential, both in terms of sort of spawning you into a more sort of like team versus team sort of context, which I want to play around with in a larger space than the Proving Grounds team fight area. You can probably tell there's a lot more sort of like bridges and cross connections and things like that. So I also need to, I've been experimenting, it's the other reason I built this space, is to experiment with a little more high-level decision-making for the Sosigs. Like, for something like a Battle Royale game to work with agents, they need to be able to task switch between the directive of like local, I'm in a combat space, I'm threatened, I'm fighting, and then when they're not in that, they want to basically be like, is there good equipment near me, or where would good equipment be, and then actually path to those places, get that equipment, and then continue. So that is something that I need to continue working on making happen. So yeah, well, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy both the new Melee toys that are hanging around the Proving Grounds. Some of those will start showing up in the Kappa Coliseum and in the item spawner once I've worked out just a few more bugs in them. But you will notice that the Roman-style weapons in the Kappa Coliseum, the Piloms and the Gladius, actually have the like stabbing functionality now. So give those a shot, and if anything truly bizarre happens, please let me know. Anywho, gonna head back to work now. I hope you all have a wonderful week and enjoy continuing to open up those Meatmas boxes. So, peace.